develop our critical thinking, or as the scoring rubrics say, topic development and progression of ideas. You are now taking an American test. This isn't Oxford, this isn't Cambridge, it's the TOEFL. TOEFL asks you to explain. This week, I asked a pharmacist, what does explain mean? And he said to say what I understand. Then we looked up the definition of explain together, and he saw that to say what I understand is nowhere in the definition. Here's the definition of ETS's instructions for you pharmacists to be able to take FPGEE this year in 2025. Here is the definition of ETS's instructions to you so that you can take FPGEE this year in 2025.
Explain.
Explain. Make an idea clear to someone. Oh, you have to think of someone else. I've learned that your education has lacked development from that perspective, from somebody else's perspective. Empathy, sympathy, considering the perspective of a different person, not just yourself. What does the definition say? Make an idea clear to someone, as in not you, someone else. Can you help somebody else to understand? Or can you only repeat back what you heard? You said you want an advanced score. You said you want 26. Do you know that's an advanced score? Then maybe you should be fully 100% clear of what the test's instructions are to you when they say explain, and not just 80 or 90% clear. To be 100% clear on the TOEFL's instructions to you, you will now know that when they tell you to explain, they are telling you to make the idea clear to someone else by describing it in more detail. You should not just limit yourself to repeating what they said. You should do what the instructions and what the definition of the instructions say. More detail that reveals. One example of this from outsider artists, speaking question 3, would be to reveal that since the outsider artist didn't get the usual education of other artists, he must invent. That's not revealing so far. Since he had to invent his own ways of producing artworks, this meant that his style was very original, very non-copycatish. He was creating things that nobody else was creating. Some of his works look strange. Strange does not always equal bad or negative. It just means strange. Sometimes the most beneficial and good things are different. If you haven't been passing for a long period of time, long enough to make you unhappy with how long it's taken, then something different, something strange might be good. If you don't change anything, nothing changes. The revealing part is revealing is showing how not the usual education of other artists leads to an outsider artist inventing, and that leads to strange works. But we wouldn't be talking about Darger if all he produced was strange, non-high quality things. He wouldn't have made the history books. A lot of people produce strange, non-high quality things, and we don't know who they are. But if we know who this outsider artist is, I can assume that means even though it was strange, It was strange in a high quality way. Ding, 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 ding.
Explain.
Speaking26.com. While helping a pharmacist with the TOEFL speaking question number 4 today, that is about the disadvantages of animals living in groups, she asked me about mispronouncing the word vulnerable. And she asked me this because, like some of you, she has heard my previous advice about not letting the test trick you or get you to stumble with these unnecessarily fancy words. She said, yeah, when I was giving my answer, I noticed that I had difficulty pronouncing vulnerable. And so, Aaron, I guess this is when you give us advice on saying how we should not use that word, but instead use the words that we are already comfortable with. And I said, yes, the test does that on purpose. It's like a vocabulary word trap or a vocabulary word obstacle. You have the choice to turn left or right. Most of you hear the fancy words like depict or vulnerable, and you think, oh, fancy advanced vocabulary word. When I say it, when I copy what the professor said, I'm going to sound smart. It's only one word. That's not a development of a topic. It's only one vocabulary word. That's not a progression of ideas. The development of a topic, the progression of ideas comes after multiple sentences. Let me say that again, pharmacists. Scoring rubrics, topic development, progression of ideas. Progression of ideas does not come after one vocabulary word. It doesn't even come after one sentence. It comes after multiple sentences. So she realized the advice that I've been giving, as you can too. She said, okay, so you're telling me I should use the word that I'm more comfortable, more confident with instead of vulnerable. And I said, yes. It's not worth it to risk mispronouncing vulnerable because then she said something which many of you pharmacists who are going to pass your TOEFL in 2025 for FPGEE can relate to. She said, once I mispronounce the word, one word, such as vulnerable, then it becomes difficult to say the rest of my answer. Yes, ding, 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 speaking26.com. The biggest negative is not that you mispronounced one word, it's that the remainder, the rest of your 60-second answer, you lose confidence. It's not worth it to try to pick up one fancy vocabulary word and lose confidence for the rest of your answer. We're not 15-year-olds anymore. This isn't about one word here and one word there. It's about developing the topic, progressing the ideas, which comes after multiple sentences, not just multiple words, certainly not after one word. Be focused on progressing your ideas. Also, when I give you this advice to use the words you're already comfortable, instead of just trying to copy the new impressive vocabulary word that you hear from the TOEFL, I'm thinking about you in the test center. I'm remembering myself in the test center. The test workers were not happy to be there. They were a little bit rude. Other people tell me they're very rude. I'm thinking about you in the test center. I'm remembering when I was in the test center, I could, in an energetic way that's hard for me to explain, I could feel the fear of other people coming into my body. It took every ounce of willpower that I have to maintain my confidence and score 30 out of 30 on my first try on TOEFL IBT speaking. I want you to be able to maintain your confidence. So say the words that you are already confident with instead of letting the test trick you into saying more advanced words that you are not confident to pronounce. Don't worry. You don't need to be able to correctly pronounce every word in the dictionary. It's your thinking and non-admission of that that's holding you back. Hi, my name is Aaron, speaking 26, and I've shown more verifiable humans getting 26 on TOEFL speaking than anybody else. And I choose on purpose, intentionally, to use simple language. I don't say vulnerable. Well, this example, maybe I could say vulnerable, but let me help you the way that I helped that pharmacist. If I had a little bit of difficulty saying vulnerable or medicinal or dormitory, I wouldn't go there. I'm not going to let the test take me out of my confidence when I could stay in my confidence. So instead of saying vulnerable, I said, what are some confident ways that you could say that? Go ahead and say it 2 or 3 different ways. And what she came to was, okay, so I'll do it with you right now. Hey, Aaron, if you have difficulty saying vulnerable, how would you develop that topic? How would you progress your ideas while not saying the word that gets you to lose confidence for the rest of the 60-second answer? I would develop the topic and progress my ideas like this. Instead of saying vulnerable, I would say, puts the fish in a more dangerous situation. Or we could say, it makes it more likely that the fish will be captured. It makes it more likely that the fish will be eaten. There's no way I would mispronounce those words. There's no way I would lose confidence for the rest of my 60-second answer by doing that approach. Also, we were talking about speaking question number 1. Do you know what the scoring rubrics say about speaking question number 1? It's called an independent speaking question, but you guys do not answer it independent. You, one person. We want to value your opinion as one person. We don't want to hear you copying talking points from other people. This is why no matter how much you practice, your scores don't go up. Or if they do on the websites, they don't on the real test in the uncomfortable environment of the test center. Listen, let me teach you all an American value. On one hand, I have somebody who always tells me, oh, yes, Aaron, this is called a yes man. Yes, Aaron, yes, Aaron, yes. Aaron, you are so good. Aaron, you are always right. Yes, Aaron, I'm a yes man. Yes. On the other hand, I have somebody who sometimes agrees with me and sometimes disagrees with me. Whether they agree with me or disagree with me is not important. The most important thing is that I can tell they're being honest with me. Who do you respect more? Respect deserves a higher score. Progresses their ideas. Who do you respect more? Your friends and family members who just always tell you, yes, 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 you are so good, you are never wrong. Or the people who tell you the truth when you are wrong, as you, a human, know you sometimes are. I would rather hear from a woman who disagrees with me as long as she's being honest and using logic, rather than I would want to hear from a man who's not being honest, who's always just saying, yes, Aaron, you are so good. Yes, Aaron, you are so right. And letting his logic atrophy. ETS describes question number 1 as an independent question. It is an American value. One example of this, here's something that I was able to do in my schools when I was a young kid that most of you were not able to do. I was able to raise my hand and challenge the teacher. The teacher would wait to hear if I was using logic. It's not like the teacher would say, no, you cannot raise your hand. I am older than you, therefore I am always right. Instead, the teacher would give us an opportunity to develop our critical thinking, or as the scoring rubrics say, topic development and progression of ideas. You are now taking an American test. This isn't Oxford. This isn't Cambridge. It's the TOEFL.
Disclaimer. The information provided is for general informational purposes only and is presented at the individual's own risk. It is not intended to defame any entity or individual. Aaron and his guests make no representations or warranties of any kind, either express or implied, regarding the completeness or suitability of the information. The views expressed by Aaron and his guests are not affiliated with, approved by, or endorsed by any entity or organization, including, but not limited to, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, the Test of English as a Foreign Language, TOEFL, and Educational Testing Service, ETS.
I have showed the most amount of people passing, getting 26 on TOEFL speaking than anybody else has. And when I say show, I mean real people like you can see and hear Michelle here, not just a post that may be real or not, but a person that you can see and hear. The speaking templates are wrong. Because to get 26 on speaking, and when you see somebody who did get 26 on speaking or above, and they tell you they used a speaking template, they did not get 26 on TOEFL IBT speaking because of the speaking template. No, they got 26 on TOEFL IBT speaking in spite of the limiting nature of the speaking template. They got 26 on TOEFL IBT speaking because their speaking fluency was so good, is so good, that it was able to overcome the limiting structure that is speaking templates.
I never got 26 using AI website.
Okay, but you did on the real test after meetings with me.
Yeah.
If you want to see more videos with people giving you their best advice on how they got their 26 on TOEFL IBT speaking, you can watch that YouTube playlist. It's connected to this video, and you can find it by searching for TOEFL IBT Speaking 26. You can also find it by going through speaking26.com. These are people who before were not getting 26 on TOEFL speaking, and after did get 26 and pass their tests. I asked them, hey, can you give your best advice to people who are still taking the test? How did you go from not passing to passing?
When I read about the TOEFL exam, I didn't really think much of it. I just thought, okay, straightforward thing. It's an English exam. How difficult can it be?
The pharmacy board needs specifically 26 in speaking.
I used to change the template. Maybe this is more advanced, so I will use this the next exam, and I try to practice this for maybe a month or two to be able to master it, to say it without thinking. Every time I found myself getting maybe less score or the same score. It doesn't make any difference to just change the templates and use different introductory words. It didn't make any difference for me. Some of my friends advised me to start taking sessions with you.
This helped me in passing my TOEFL exam. Aaron helped me to pass and get 26.
Aaron, actually, any words will not be enough. But really, I'm very thankful.
26 in speaking, and I finally got it, and I'm so excited to get to the next step in my pharmacist license.
Look at my accent, look at people who got 26. So just surround yourself with people who motivate you.
Look, I passed. That bit that's missing is probably the most important bit to get you to 26.
Yes.
And that's the bit where Aaron, I felt, helped me realize where I was going wrong. And that bit where I was going wrong, I think it goes for everyone. It doesn't matter whether you speak English is your first language or not. That bit that was missing is something everyone really needs to understand in order to get that 26.
Once you are in the level that you need to become advanced
Mm.
in order to get the 26, you
Mm.
need to get rid of the templates.
Template will hinder your ability to deliver the question, because it shows that you are reading something, or you are not speaking, you are reading.
I was using completely different template or different way. I started to apply your way, and once I started to practice your way, oh, it's easy for me.
That was really good for me. It really helps me because with this in my mind, I could speak faster, and because I was confident.
It's challenging, but you know, after you pass it, the feeling of victory, it's worth it.
As English is my first language, I thought the speaking templates would be enough to get me the 26 that I needed. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and I only scored a 23. Your lack of getting 26 is not due to your speaking ability. It has been due to your less than optimal strategy. Get rid of the training wheels.
The templates were like, oh my God, why did they create those templates?
Aaron, you are a big helpful for students like us. We need somebody to like stir revolution in our heart inside, give life to our conversation, and this will never happen through other sites like they have exact traditional pattern, the template, first, second. For example, don't say for example the second time, for instance, really. And like robot, I felt myself without life. I don't have the freedom to speak.
You don't have to worry that much about how can I mention 2 reasons with 2 details or 2 examples. It's too much for me. You help students to increase their fluency.
Instead of following that speaking template or any other speaking template, trust your fluency.
For the students who are taking with you, trust this guy. He's amazing. He will shift or improve your level as soon as possible.
Like just jump my score from 23 to 26, like this. How many hours I took with you? 5. Look at this. 5 hours in 2 weeks. I passed my test.
I was surprised that I passed after 5 sessions together.
I hope you keep inspiring and helping more pharmacists and more other students to achieve their goal and become professionals here in the United States.
If I had just, found you earlier.
For people who's really, they have concern and they need to do it very fast, go to the original, the source of help.
Go to Aaron. He's the guy. He was the guy for me. And hopefully he's the guy for you. And he'll set you straight. He'll tell you what you need to do to get that 26.